This is Lake Tutira in autumn in New Zealand. Come and have a look with me. Before we get into the good stuff, just want to remind you that if you like the channel, please make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Thank you. Hey everyone, welcome back to Jude's Tiny House Truck Travels. Feels like a long time since I made a video, but it wasn't actually that long ago. But since I talked to you last, I've trotted off down to Wellington with my mum to celebrate the graduation of my lovely son. So that's what I've been up to, and why the videos are probably stretching out a little bit between, because I've just made the decision not to let making videos drive my life. So if I've got a good place to show you, I will make a video, but if not, I'd set myself this this goal of, you know, when I first started making the videos, I was doing about one a day, and then it went to 1 to 2 days, 3 days, now it's sort of out to 4 days. So it was a self-imposed timeline. I don't make any money out of these videos. I'm, you know, in the 6 months I've been doing it, I've made about $13. So I do this because I want to, not because I'm going to make a great deal of money out of it. So today's gorgeous little spot in Lake Tutira is a place that I have been to a lot. While my tiny home was getting built, I lived in Tutira for 3 days a week. I was parked up next to the community kindergarten that runs for 3 days a week there, and I was working there. So I had the really long commute of hopping out of my bus and going around the nose of my bus and straight into the door of the kindergarten, which was really, really handy. And then on a Friday morning, I would trottle off into Napier and go and see the tiny house and see where it was up to and getting built. So a whole year I spent in this community, and every now and again I would go and park up down by the lake, but mostly I was parked up by the kindy. But I quite often stop in this here either on the way to or the way back from Wairoa, which is where my lovely mechanic lives. And even before I was in a camper van, I have stayed at Lake Tutira in a caravan, even going way back many years. So it's been a part of my life for quite some time, and I've watched it get flooded. I've watched it get stinky because they have been having trouble with the water quality. But as you will be able to see, that seems to be no longer, well, I think it's still a problem, but not as bad as it used to be. And it was beautiful when I was there, even though it was a bit overcast and a bit misty, and the tracks were closed off for logging. I still managed to find somewhere to go for a walk. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. Heading north out of Napier, you'll find Lake Tutira on the road up to Wairoa. You can camp anywhere you like on the southern end of the lake. This is the roadway in when you're coming from Napier. It's a little bit narrow, and I find it a bit hard in the truck, but most people manage to get in. You can camp in here. You can camp pretty much anywhere, but the actual campground is down that road through those trees, which was rather hard to get the truck through, I must admit. So there's Lake Tutira, but there's also another lake off to the side, and there's a gorgeous little track around that lake. But I went to the end of the track this time and parked not far away from the toilets that are available at the end of the campsite. And as you can see, it's a gorgeous spot. And I picked one right next to the water, of course, as I do. There's a little bit of a notice board giving you some information I've had people ask me to let them know about dogs, so if I see anything, a sign, I will let you know. And what do you know? There it says, no dogs allowed. It's definitely a working farm. There were sheep wandering around, keeping the grass down. This is the main camping area in here. And just there is the most prolific walnut tree, if you're there in the right season. Looking into the camping area, those beautiful trees around there, and there's a track that goes right around up through those hills behind there as well. So there's lots of little tracks scattered all around this area. Just thought I'd show you the toilets. Now it says to boil before drinking, but I'm told that that water that comes out of there is absolutely clean as a whistle, but of course they have to cover themselves. Not the cleanest toilets I've ever seen. I don't use the toilets, of course. And a little lending library or toilet reading. They've chopped a few trees down in the camping ground and made some really neat sculptures out of them, which is quite cool. So this is at the back of the campground area, just looking up around those trees. As I said, lots of little tracks heading off all over the place. If you follow the road right to the end, you'll get to this tuning bay. And as you can see, there's lots more camping way down there. And this is the start of quite a few tracks that go up through the hills, 2 or 3 hour tramps. They were closed while I was there because they're doing logging up around there. This little one here is quite a cool little track to go down if you're just wanting a quick walk, because it goes up to where the pa was situated for the local iwi. So I've just sort of given you a bit of a look around. Here we are. It gets to a really cool little signboard that tells you a few, but there's quite a few of these signs right around wherever you go around the lake. And I find it incredibly interesting to hear about what went on. You'll see these little birds that are popping in and out here. They must have had a nest and they were a bit worried about where I was going. Oh, they got really close. So this was the actual site where the pa was. And you can see it was cloudy but beautiful still day when I was there. Absolutely gorgeous. That's looking over towards the campground. Walking back, some of these willow trees provide some cool places for the kids to play. You can see it's really quite stunning in autumn. It's even better in summer because now you can swim there, which is great news. And a couple of sunset shots to finish off. So that's Lake Tutira. I hope you enjoyed it. Another one of my local spots that I camp at quite often. Just a note about the water quality, because I know somebody's going to ask about it. They've had a lot of trouble with the water quality in the past, but they've been working really hard to get it under control. A lot of it had to do with runoff from the local farms, and that's all under Department of Conservation now, so they've been getting that really well under control. You can swim in there now. All it says is they've taken away all the notices that says don't swim, etc., and just said that if you swim, that you should have some sun cream on, a particular type of sun cream to do with that you might get duck itch. But I've seen locals swim in these lakes, and they're quite happy to swim in there. Trout fishing, I forgot to mention during the video that this is a really great trout fishing lake. You can't put any motorized vehicles on there, but oh my god, it's great for kayaking. Enjoy.